Namaste, lads and ladies. Welcome back finally to another manga review. Today, we have two new ear piercings. Awesome, aren't they? They're recently done. I got them done roughly about a day ago or so, just as I was coming back from my niece's birthday and my friend's birthday, because my mum's friend is also born on the same day as my niece, oddly enough. So we just went to drop off some of their birthday presents, had some time with them, and then I stopped off at my nearby tattoo parlour to ask them if they'd be willing to do my ears for me. Which is great because this one I actually did get done, but it closed up at one point. And then it kind of like just dawned on me, you know what? I kind of want to get my ears pierced. I think that'll look good. So I'll have to wait a good 3 or so months before they fully heal up, before I can then get my new ear piercings in. I don't want to show them to you yet because they have yet to arrive, but also when they do arrive, I kind of want it to be a surprise 3 months later, basically, because they are some good looking earrings, you know. I've got one that's sterling silver. Sorry, not sterling silver. I believe it's sterling silver. Yeah, unless it's sterling steel, I'm not so sure. But I'll have to check out the metal on that as well. And I've got another pair of studs that I want to show off as well because they're quite good. I'm not really going to be one of those guys that uses rings because rings don't really look good on guys, really. Well, it depends on the ring type, I think. Yeah, I think I'll be using studs more often than anything else, really. But yeah, I thought it'd be quite nice to finally, you know, get both my ears done. Since I've got all of these tattoos and all that, I need some piercings to go with it, and I feel like the lobes will suit me just fine, really. So, from that to this, we're going to be doing Konohana Kitan, Volume 8. And with Volume 8, we focus a little bit more on Sakura and I've forgotten her name, Yuzu back there. Yuzu's her name. Her name escapes me, Yuzu. She's like behind me, smiling down on me. You forget my name, boy? You forget my name? But no, we see them shopping for some, I believe they're kimonos or yukatas. I believe they're yukatas. Because Yuzu has never really had her own clothing before, basically. Only the rags that was given to her by her caretaker and some of the kimonos that was borrowed from Sakura. So Sakura has been kind enough to take her down to the shop and kind of haggle with the store owner on like the pricing for some of the kimonos because it's good material, and she kind of haggles them down to like about, I don't know, like what's expensive in Japan? I think I'd say about 50,000 yen, something like that. It's about 500, isn't it? I think so. Yeah, because 5,000 yen is £5 in English money, I believe. So, by my calculations, I believe 50,000 yen is roughly £500 or something like that. So that was, I believe, the asking price, and I think Sakura was able to get it down to like 20,000, something like that. So not a bad price drop. At least well over half, at least, that she dropped it down by, which was quite nice of her to do. And it shows off some of the beautiful, lovely floral patterns and designs of certain dresses that she wore, basically. And I'm really interested in Japanese attire, really, especially like when it comes to weddings, because some of the most beautiful brides from a wedding will be in Japanese tradition, because their outfits are so gorgeous and they actually fit the bride very beautifully. It like shows off their body quite nicely, and the veil as well like hides the beauty of their face. So then when the day comes and the veil is lifted, you get to see the beautiful young lass that is wearing the kimono, basically. It's the same with Western veil. I don't really like Western veils because I feel like they're kind of see-through, so it kind of like defeats the purpose of hiding the bride's face, basically, you know, because I feel like that should be the case. I feel like you should be hiding a more something more beautiful under something that is already pretty, which is basically the dress. So I guess that's why they play down the dress in Western society a little bit, because I feel like there are some beautiful designs on like brides' dresses and all that in Western society. It's just they're a bit too diverse, I feel like. So I feel like it kind of takes the magic away, where it should just be like simple body type, simple design, elegantly placed on, and then a couple of features added onto it, basically. Excuse me. But I just love how the dress wraps around the female figure within like Japanese culture, basically, especially when it comes to yukatas and kimonos, basically. And she's quite upset, Yuzu, that she's not upset, she's like happy upset that Sakura is willing to do all this for her, because since it's her first kimono, basically. Because I think that's like a tradition in Japanese culture where young women go to get their first kimonos at a certain time in their life. I think when they're 16 or 18. It's kind of like having a prom in Western society, basically. You know, you only have one once and then it's gone forever, basically. So you want to enjoy it while you can, basically. And it's the same with like a bar mitzvah or a bat mitzvah, basically. You know, like in Hebrew culture, how you know, it's a coming of age type of thing, basically. So I like how you know, they managed to do this with Yuzu, because I feel like she's missed out an awful lot on her childhood, basically, and she hasn't had like that familial bond that an awful lot of the others have, basically, apart from Bikuni-sama, who Yuzu was able to be well cared for by her, basically. And it then kind of like goes in and out of like these small little fan service sections where they're kind of like showing off bras and bikinis and stuff like that, you know. The odd fan service here and there isn't like that too heavily spotted upon, really, because I feel like it's kind of out of place here, basically. I mean, I know it's meant to like catch the eye of the audience, basically, in a certain sense, but I feel like for this kind of manga, it's kind of like it's kind of not needed, really, because I feel like the beauty of the girls is already eye-catching enough. I don't think having to see them completely like naked already negates the point of the fan service, because you know we've already seen them naked, so having them in fan service outfits just kind of defeats the point, really. But that's just an eye of a reader type of thing, really. That's just kind of a thing that I have a little bit of an issue really with, really, how they can say, oh, it's a fan service like page when we've already seen them naked, so it's kind of like, okay, you know, nothing new there. But that's the thing, really, when it comes to attractiveness, really, either it be a man or a woman, basically, because I feel like clothing on the right person and the right body type, it accentuates the person's curves or the person's body type even more, basically. Kind of like how, you know, like thigh highs and stuff like that on a woman. Beautiful. Or like a chap with a V-neck, basically, with just a little bit of the chest hair popping out, or a tattoo just showing underneath. For some women, they might find that very, you know, alluring. Or men with facial hair and stuff like that. I'm kind of like shooting my shot out of the ballpark here, but yeah, as you do, really. I mean, I think my beard's kind of alright. It's gotten to that point where it's like, you know, it's more respectable. It's not too long, so I do need to trim up a little bit around my neckline, because a little bit of that hair is starting to come back. I forgot to shave this morning, my apologies. I'm in a bit of a rush, really, because I'm going to see the new Peter Dinklage film that he's in. I believe it's called Serrano or something like that. I'm not so sure what it's about. I didn't really research it because I just want to be surprised by it, because honestly, I'm only going to watch the film because Peter Dinklage is in it. He's a fantastic actor. If you don't know who Peter Dinklage is, he's the chap who played Lord Tyrion in Game of Thrones, George R.R. Martin's work. Well, that's the book, basically. But in the TV series, fantastic actor. Hysterical, but also very good actor. I think he was also in the film Rememory, I believe. That was a good film as well. I believe I'm not going to like spoil anything for you, because it's a very good film. You want to go watch it, but it's about this chap who lost his brother in a car accident, and he can't quite remember like how the night went, but he has nightmares and he blames himself for it. But there's like this device which you can jump through your memories and other people's memories, and like you can see it on like this little device thing, and he steals it, and he tries to like put together the clues on the people that were surrounding him that day. And I think he's also trying to figure out a murder as well, because the guy who created it was suspected murdered, basically. Also, what he suspiciously died, basically. So he was trying to figure out how he died, basically, but also trying to figure out like the things that he's missing from his life, basically, on the night of the accident of losing his brother. And it's a very good like film, based around like some of the thriller aspects and the drama of him meeting these new people that are involved in this entrepreneur's life and his life in a certain sense. And it's got a very good end that's quite shocking, really, once you see it. I'm not going to obviously ruin it for you. You should go and watch it. It's a fantastic film. It's been out for a couple of years now, so I feel like if you haven't watched it, what you're doing with your life. Peter Dinklage is an amazing actor, and honestly, I feel like he deserves more praise than he's given, really. So, yeah, that's just me fanboying over Peter Dinklage for the first 5 minutes, so my apologies. So, back on with the book, we come to the section of what was the section of yes, Yasam. So it kind of goes over like the ins and outs and oh no, not Yasam. Sorry, my apologies. There's one section of this girl who is constantly reincarnated, so she keeps coming back to Konohana, but she forgets every single time, where she kind of has had like a very mediocre life, like she's not respected, she's not liked, the casual, depressive, episodic styles of life that we all have to go through, unfortunately. She's one of those people that falls into those categories of just giving up on life, basically, unfortunately. And like there's this one section where she wants to be a bird so she can be free, spread her wings and all that, but she gets eaten by a falcon. She wants to be a mouse so she can be small, cute, and run off into the wilderness and that. She gets eaten by a snake, and it goes on, basically. So it's partly due to her giving up on, like, she's thinking, oh, I'll never be happy, I'll never, like, get what I'm, like, owed in life and stuff like that, which is kind of a very pessimistic and also very unreliable way of living, really, because I feel like life gives you obstacles so you can overcome them, basically. And the character is built on how you can overcome those obstacles. And it all depends on how you handle it in a certain sense, because I feel like putting myself in the situation, I feel like if I hadn't had certain things happen to me, then I feel like I would have been a very different person. But then I could say the same for some of my family members who have had hard lives and they've chosen to drink, turn to drugs, and ultimately end their life. I've had friends that have ended their lives. I don't really want to talk about that here and now, but yes, I've had 5 friends in my life that have done that, unfortunately, and there have been times when I think to myself that maybe I could have done something, but then I ultimately realise that it's not my choice that ultimately saves them. Well, it's not my choice ultimately to save them, and it's not what I do that ultimately stops them doing from what they want to do, basically. They unfortunately had very traumatic and horrendous lives, and they thought it'd be better if it was ended, basically. And it's unfortunate, really, but unless the person wants to change their life for the better, then they truly cannot start living for themselves until they wrench themselves out of the past, of the pain, basically. Once you make peace with the pain that you have in front of you, then it becomes more easier to forgive the person who has wronged you, in a certain sense. I know sometimes people can't be forgiven for the acts they've done, but I feel like for the benefit of yourself and for those around you, it kind of needs to be something that has to be done, basically, in a certain sense. So, yeah, take it however you wish, really. I feel, that their lives could have been something great and beautiful, but again, it was their choice to make, unfortunately. So, yeah, with this young lady who constantly reincarnates, she was basically talked back by Yuzu and the others to go back and try and live her life, to not give up, to try and trudge through the hardships, because something good will come your way sooner or later, basically. So they've tried to tell her that without actually telling her the full truth, is that she has to live a full life, because she's there's like this goddess in Japanese mythology, I can't remember her name, unfortunately, but she lives out the first 15 years of her life through the hardships and all that through her teenage years, basically. And even Kiri says that I wouldn't want to live a life like that, having to live that constantly over and over again. But the reason why she keeps living is because she gives up too easily, and if she just had the determination to keep pushing through, then in her next reincarnated life, after she lived her human life, she would become a great spirit, basically, that would end up finding her partner within the spirit realm and then residing over a land within the spirit realm, basically. Which is another question why Yuzu says, like, why can't we just tell her? And then Kiri says, well, that completely defeats the point of, like, bettering yourself as a person. You want to suffer those hardships so that you can become like that person that can take care of yourself and to take care of others, basically. How can they expect, like, how can I expect to take care of a platoon of soldiers in a war zone if I myself am not credited with the skills needed to fully lead my team and be mentally prepared if they die, and then I have to, like, let their family members know? You have to be utterly stone hard, like hard as a stone, to basically knock on that person's family's door and tell them, I'm so sorry for your loss, basically. That is one of the hardest things to do, which is why I always give my my absolute gratitude to police, ambulance, paramedics and firefighters, because they have to do those things for some people that unfortunately lose their lives and they have to let their families know. It's one of the hardest things you can ever do, really. I can't imagine, like, having to break news like that to someone, really. It's just a terrible thing to go through, really, especially when, you know, they seem like a lovely set of family members that have unfortunately lost their child, brother, mother, father, or whatever, basically. So, you know, it's just a strength that someone needs, basically, in order to kind of improve and push another person's life. Because there are some people that can make people's lives better, and there are some people that are there to push you to make you better, and that is an obstacle in itself, but also a well-welcomed one, I think. Which is why, the thing with the army now, how we're like allowing certain, like, people and genders, basically, to take tests at lower grades, which is kind of like you're defeating the purpose of the point. Is if you can't do the job tasked to you, then don't do the job at all. It's funny how we're kind of like replacing, you know, like, the statistical needs in order to protect our country and protect ourselves as a whole for propaganda wokeness, basically. Is hysterical. Sorry, I don't mean to like sidetrack and talk about, you know, woke brigade crap like that. I'm normally not that type of guy to go on about that stuff, but that's just the case with our generation, I'm afraid. It's just unfortunate, especially with what's going on with Russia at the moment and all that. You know, it's just unfortunate for the people in Ukraine, really. That my heart goes out to them, and I just hope that as many civilians as there is manage to get away from the fighting, basically. And you know, Godspeed to our British troops that are over there to help defend the border as much as we possibly can, really. Well, I think we're in Estonia now, so it is now. I'm not really too up to date on it, but I think we do have troops, I think, on the border of Estonia. So, you know, good luck to you guys and all that. That's all I can say, and just keep safe. So, with the end of this book, sorry to go on another side rant and all that. I'm sure you guys are bored already, but yeah, I just wanted to talk about it. That's all. You know, I just hope that my heart goes out to them and everyone's safe. That's all I can hope for, really, in this time of strife, basically. So, with the end of Konohana Kitan, it just we go into like a small grieving section with Okami-sama and some of the older maids and servants who used to work alongside Yae-san and Kiri when she was younger. They kind of like are coming to terms with like Yae-san losing her memory, and thus she will end up ceasing to not exist. It's kind of like a Benjamin Button type of case where it's she goes backwards in memory, so she just becomes nothing but a young girl, basically. I believe that will be continued in the 9th volume, and I will talk about that a little bit further. But yeah, that's where it ends, and that is another volume for Konohana Kitan. But it was good. It's been a long while since I last reviewed the last Konohana Kitan. I think it's been about a month or so, which is kind of surprising. But don't worry, the next time I review Konohana Kitan, it will be the last volume. There is a 10th volume. I can't find it anywhere, unfortunately, and I do apologise for that, but it's just unfortunate that I can't find it because it is such a very good series to read, really. But yeah, excuse me, a little bit of coffee. So yes, with that, lads and ladies, I thank you ever so much for watching another one of my reviews. And yeah, if you've enjoyed, I very much appreciate you to pick up one of these books and carry on the support and the generational love of reading a good old book, because I feel like there's something to gain, like physically and emotionally, through reading a book rather than just like skimming through like a Kindle. Kind of like, it feels kind of like Tinder, you know, when you're just like going right, left, right. It's becomes mindless after a while. It's something different when you can just hold a book, just hold a book, take your time to read the page from left to right, flip the page, and then go back down. Like there's like the flipping of the page is something timeless. Basically, it's something that should never really leave our history as humans, I think. And it's definitely something that I feel quite strongly about. This like keeping books there for us. It's kind of like with VHSs, really. I grew up with a VHS and vinyl. I'm glad that they're bringing vinyl back now for people to listen to. But yeah, it's just a shame because there are certain films that you can only watch on VHS, which I think are now being brought over to DVD, which is fine, I suppose. But it's just something classical about the VHS, you know? It's just, if you've grown up with it, then you can't, like, let go of it, really. It's kind of a shame, really. That's probably how an awful lot of the older generation feel about certain aspects as well. It's just interesting, really. So yeah, again, sorry for another tangent. Anyway, thank you ever so much for watching, and yeah, as always, take care and have a lovely, beautiful day, my friends.